Franco, thanks for joining me. What's up, dude?
Not so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about your success mainly on TikTok, but really how you got there and how you might be able to help other people that are trying to get there as well.
Absolutely. Fire away.
What platforms are you on primarily? Where are you spending most of your time posting content?
For content, it's pretty much exclusively TikTok.
Gotcha. And what are you known for on TikTok?
I run a TikTok account that focuses on gaming and toys, but primarily gaming, and particularly videos about gaming and less about playing the games themselves.
That's fun. That's fun. And what's your numbers so we can give the listener an idea of where you're at on there as of right now?
So roughly as of right now, I'm sitting at 101,000 followers. That's probably from October to now.
So like 8 or 9 months, something like that?
Yeah, definitely less than a year.
That's awesome. That's great. So you primarily focus on gaming content. You got about 100,000 followers on TikTok in about 8 months. You primarily focus on TikTok, right? Give me some examples of the type of content that you post on there.
A series that did very well was talking about video game anti-piracy. That got millions upon millions of views so far.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. How many of those did you make?
There's probably like 7 or 8 parts. And I think 2 of them are definitely over 1 million. One of them is close to 1 million. And so probably close to like 4 million total.
That's crazy. That's not what you started out as though, right? Like you didn't come out of the gate making those kinds of series, right? You kind of evolved into that.
Yeah. What I started off doing was more, I wouldn't say tutorial based, but it was definitely like a how it's made type deal. For instance, I think one of my first videos that did very well was like how the Nintendo Wii remote works and a fun hack you can do with candles and things like that. So really about gaming, but definitely not actually playing video games.
Very anti what streamers are doing. That's the opposite of what they're doing.
I think that there is an oversaturation of people playing games with their voice over it. I think it's insanely oversaturated. So what I try to do, I try to make something different that people would want to watch, even if they're not into the game that I'm talking about. I feel like it's very hard to watch people play games when you don't care about the game itself.
Because you have to care about the person.
Streamer. Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say it puts a lot on the streamer's personality or the content creator's personality. And I like to think that my personality is okay, but I really focus on the content part, and that's what drives it. And that can be way more consistent.
So gaming content, 101,000 followers in under a year. And that's fantastic. Congratulations on that. Let's get into the what you do on the platform, the technical side of actually posting and creating content on there. So
sure.
Let's start off with what kind of gear are you using to make your videos? Because many people feel like they need high-end camera gear and lighting to actually make a video go viral on TikTok. And I want to know what your take is on that.
So I believe out of all of the videos I've ever posted on TikTok, one was not shot on an iPhone, the quote unquote current gen of iPhone, whether that was a 10XR or a 12. And then for audio, it's just been the actual mic in the phone. I should be using the microphone that I'm using now, which are the standard iPhone headphones. But I think that the technical stuff in terms of camera, gear, setup is important, but I think the content is so much more important that I try to put all my energy in that.
So do you shoot it all in the app or do you shoot it on your camera? Specifically, how are you actually making a video?
That's a really, really good question, actually. So I find that I film in the app almost exclusively just because it's easier. And TikTok gives you more options. I feel like when you're uploading videos from, say, a camera roll on a phone, it gets a little harder to work with because for some reason the UI changes a bit. And I'm sure you've noticed that too. It's mainly in the app. For one thing, I really like the bar on top that tells me how far I am in the recording, because that's not something you'll get when you're just recording separate takes with the camera app.
Sure.
And that really helps me kind of focus on timing because I don't want to make overly long content if I don't have to. So And I'm a very visual person, so
Yeah,
I do enjoy
yeah.
it.
So like if you do that, so let's say you're making everything in the app, you're using your phone most of the time. How long does it take you to make an average video roughly?
So is that from conception or from action?
Sure. Yeah. From like the time that the idea comes to you till the time that it's published, like about how long do you think it could take?
So generally speaking, unless I need like a prop for something like to actually buy a game or buy a toy, typically speaking, I can come up with an idea during the workday, think about it for like 30 minutes, and then film it within an hour when I get home. A lot of the videos I've posted actually, I think about during the day and just kind of get an idea. And when I get home at 5, I try to get it done by 6 so I can still post it within what I think is a active time for my followers. So really only like 2 hours, maybe.
And you get you get a pretty high return on average for that time that you spend.
Yes. In fact, one of my most popular videos, I think, is at 2.1 million. And that if you count the time going to the store to buy a pack of Legos, to film it, it took maybe 5 minutes. And it got 2.1 million views. So
that's impressive.
Yeah. So that's why I think content is super important, because obviously the prep didn't help me or hurt me. It's not like I spent a whole bunch of time, but the content was good. So,
yeah. So how often are you actually posting on TikTok?
Nowadays, I'm posting maybe 2 or 3 times a week. There was a point in December where I was posting pretty much every day.
Wow.
Because it's a little easier to batch content when the weather's crappy. So, but typically speaking, I'll try to get 3 or 4 posts done a week if I can. And sometimes more, especially if it's something that you can film a multiple parter, or if it's something that will just take longer. I do have access to 3-minute TikToks like a lot of people, but I try to still do things in parts because I think it's easier to digest. So.
Yeah, that's great. So like, as far as like making content on TikTok goes, you post a couple times a week, use your camera, and are you going live at all? Do you go live on TikTok?
So I try to go live. I've been very bad about it, but I've been trying to go live like 2 or 3 times a week, even if it's for just an hour. I find that when you post a video and you go live right after, I think it pushes your video into the feed. And the other good thing is that it lights up your profile when you are going through the For You page. So if you happen to see one of my older videos, you might be tempted just to click on it because I'm live and either visit the live or look at my latest video, which is what a lot of people do when you visit a profile. So I try to go live basically to promote videos.
So do you think that's something people should do when they're trying to grow on there? Like, should live be a part of what they do?
I think if you can do whatever your content is in a live format, or even like content adjacent, do it, because it can only help you in the algorithm. TikTok wants to keep people on the app, and the best way to do that is to give them a streaming show or a streaming, clip, especially if they're going by for a few minutes. Because what's going to happen is people who watch lives a lot, they're probably going to get pushed lives more. They're going to stay in the app longer, and then that's just better for TikTok. Because not only are they keeping you on TikTok, they're keeping you off other apps. So it's like a win-win.
And like you said, when you go live, you tend to get a bit of a boost because your videos tend to go out into the feed a little bit more while you're going live.
Yeah, one of the coolest things about going live is that if you have even a remotely big following, and I'm talking about maybe a couple thousand followers, if you go live for like an hour, when you come back, you're probably going to have 99 plus notifications, just because your videos are getting pushed a little more in the feed. And if people like and follow through your live itself. So that's a really good feeling. So I think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. So let's talk about like creating a little bit. Mm-hmm. Have you always been comfortable on camera, and how did you get more confident on camera? Because one of the reasons why many people don't get into video is because they are uncomfortable about being on camera. Either they don't like the way they look on camera, or they don't like the way their voice sounds on camera. How comfortable are you being on there, and how did you get there?
So to make a long story short, my previous job, I worked for a YouTube channel that was very, very popular. And one of the things I had to do was I wrote a show for other people to talk over. And basically I wrote scripts and edited it. But sometimes they would be out of the office and I had to take control and I had to do all of it. And that really helped me get confidence, especially because every episode of that show that I was running was getting hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. So it was like 3 straight minutes of my voice. So that was like a trial by fire. But I think it's pretty easy to get comfortable on camera if you just keep doing it. I think that is the number one thing I can tell people. Film yourself as much as you can, practice speaking, practice reading scripts, do whatever you can to just, break yourself in to get comfortable, because it comes across through videos more than you think.
But you're not always on camera, right? Like, explain to people that and how you can make content by not showing yourself on camera.
Well, that's a great point, Joe. So you don't have to be on camera. One of the things that the internet is known for, especially in the past couple of years, are videos where it is the camera literally in front of the person, and all you can see is what they're talking about, or maybe even their hands. And I think that is a great way to get started if you want to get comfortable on camera. So, for instance, if you want to run a channel based on botany or plants, you can do a few videos about planting with just your hands in it, with you talking over it. And then eventually you can do video intros where it's you for a few seconds and then your hands. And then eventually it'll just be you. It's just a natural extension of that kind of thing. So that is a really good point. There are ways to get comfortable on camera without being on camera, so to speak. And I know that that's a huge hurdle. I mean, I still don't like the way I look or sound, but it's definitely like a repetition type thing.
Well, 101,000 people would beg to differ with you. But anyway, so what's cool about that, and I'll add to that, is that inside of TikTok actually, and so does Instagram. I don't know about YouTube off the top of my head, but TikTok and Instagram with Reels allow you to actually make that type of content in the app. So they allow you to actually film something and then record a voiceover after the fact. So you don't even have to record yourself doing it live, so to speak, while you're filming. You can actually get all of your footage, gather all of your video, and then speak about it on top of the video after the fact.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because some of my videos use that and some of my videos are fake in that regard, mainly because it seems like a video where I'm talking as the things are happening. But sometimes I'll film a whole TikTok, realize I don't like the way I sound, and I'll do a voiceover as if it's happening live. So it's a super powerful tool. Some of my unboxing videos I'll do that with, where I was like, oh, I didn't say this or that, but I already opened the thing. You can't reseal it. So I'll just fake it. And honestly, it's an extra thing to make you more comfortable.
So where do you get most of your ideas from when you're trying to post a couple times a week? I know that can be very difficult for people when they're trying to come up with concepts to film. Where do you come up with that content? How do you get your inspiration and your ideas?
I tend not to do trends or things of that nature or use popular sounds. So I don't get inspiration from TikTok, although a lot of people do, and they should. I just honestly, I have a very strong passion for gaming and for making videos. And I just always sit down and say, what do I want to see on the platform? And then I do it, because people say, be the change you want to see in the world. So that's literally what I'm doing. I'm making content that I want to see. And then if other people get inspiration from that, then I see more content that I like. So it's a great thing.
So do you feel like if somebody is super passionate about something and they love what they're talking about, do you feel like those ideas just kind of can flow naturally because there's just so many things that somebody can talk about or do with things that they're passionate about?
I would say that being super passionate about something really makes making content easier. And if you happen to be struggling with creating content, but you are passionate or you have that passion, the best thing you can do is teach people about your passion. A lot of people, if you ask them, hey, what is your favorite hobby? Let's say it's archery. You might be kind of hard pressed on how to convey that. But if someone asks you, hey, what's the difference between this kind of arrow and this kind of arrow? And you just go right into it because it's something you know off the top of your head. That's the perfect kind of content that you could be making if you have that passion.
Sure.
So, and it's a great start. It really is.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit more about after you post. How do you feel about interacting with comments and letting people comment on your videos and stitching and duetting? I know some people can get a little hung up with hateful comments and like bad mouthing and trolls. And how do you deal with comments and responding and all that?
So I have a pretty set system for that. The first thing I do when I post is I write a comment or ask a question in the comments and pin it to the top. And I try to answer and reply to as many comments as I can within like 15, 20 minutes, like whatever's reasonable. Because, and I'll ask you this, if you see a video with no comments, as opposed to a video with 100 comments, what are you more likely to click? Like which comment box are you more likely to click?
Social proof. Yeah, of course.
So basically, even if people are saying hi first, all this stuff, I comment, thanks for watching. I say hi back. I say, how are you? Things like that. Because what's going to happen is people see that interaction and everyone wants to be interacted with, even if you're famous or not. And then all of a sudden that engagement goes up and then it really goes up, and TikTok loves that engagement because again, keeps you on the platform. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden your video gets thrown to the For You page and then you'll have too many comments to answer. So that's pretty much the system I always try to keep. And honestly, when I'm bored, I'll go to my comment section of all of my videos, like the comments tab, and I'll just answer a few because it can never hurt. You'll never know if you can get a follower that way or if you can help somebody out. Or
even help push your video back into the page, back into the For You page by inspiring some interaction.
Yeah. I mean, if you get someone who writes, I wouldn't say vitriolic, but if you get someone who writes like some kind of comment that is engaging and you answer and then people reply to you and then people reply to that video is going to go right back into the page. It really will.
Yeah. So keep the engagement going. That's good advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And start the conversation with that first comment. I like that piece of advice.
Yeah. And also I've noticed live videos, when I do get off of live, my latest video isn't always the one that has the most interaction. So TikTok has a funny way of just kind of testing things out. Sometimes in my For You page, I will get a video that I love, and then I'll realize it was from 4 months ago. And it's super interesting why they chose that one specifically, but they know more than me.
Yeah, for sure. You touched on it a little bit before, but how do you feel about trends and like hopping on trend videos to try to get views and try to get followers? Do you do that in your page?
I think maybe I'll use a sound every now and then, but only if it like pertains to my content or if I can make it pertain to my content.
Sure.
But like I wouldn't just post me doing like a dance with no context that everyone else is doing. I will say that if you're going to do trends and that's your goal, then you can do that. But if you are someone who makes a certain kind of content and then hops on a trend that's not related to your content, even if that goes viral, when people go to your page, they're not going to have a reason to follow you because your content won't speak to them like that trend did. Yeah. I mean, probably not. So if you're going to do trends, go all in on it. And if not, really focus on making your own stuff. And it goes back to my content thing. Spend your time and energy making your own content. Like do the best you can and really put some effort into it, because the more value you provide through your content, the more you'll get back and you'll get a more meaningful following than a trend, for instance. Unless
the trend really hits on your niche and your audience and the things that you're talking about.
So if there's like a sound, if there's like a popular sound that's like a clip from a movie and people are lip syncing to it, but you can like make it pertain to gaming, for instance, go for it. But like I'm talking about just like actual trends and viral things like that where you're just doing it because you
for no reason.
Right. Or like I am not going to duet Greta Van Fleet. I should, but I'm not going to do that on my gaming profile because sure, it's viral, but it has nothing to do with what I do. Now, if I made a video game character somehow like mouth along to that song, then that's a completely different story. So that's what I'm talking about with keeping it within your content. You want to build a following that likes what you do because they will watch everything you make. And that's huge for consistency. You don't want to be all over the place. And if you do, you want to be really all over the place, like a variety channel.
So that leads me to one of my last questions is, what do you think is the most important factor in trying to grow a following? Somebody that has not, somebody that wants to get to the point that you're at, what's the most important factor, do you think, in the success of building a channel to 100,000?
I originally thought it was quantity, but it's really quality. There are several creators that I follow that don't post every day, but that means when I do see their content, I get super excited. And that's what I hope to emulate with my own content. I put a lot of effort into the actual content itself and hope that the following that I've built likes me enough or enjoys the content enough that the infrequency won't be an issue. So really focus on providing value and keeping that content good. Because if you figure out a great content strategy and it's posting once a week, but it's getting great numbers, doesn't matter. That's your goal. So really, you want the product to be good.
And my last question about this is really, what would you tell somebody that has 0 followers, that has aspirations to get to where you're at and even beyond that? What do you tell somebody that has nothing and starting from scratch?
If you have 0 followers and your account's not branded yet, figure out what you want to talk about. Find a bunch of creators who make content in your niche, and figure out what people are watching, and then make your own content with that kind of audience in mind. I'm not necessarily saying look at someone's content and copy it. I'm saying if someone is doing a series on, the top 10 potted plants, I don't know why I keep going back to this.
The top 10
potted plants. Yeah, I don't know. If they're doing that, make like a top 10 carnivorous plants or something. Do something that's original, but that has an audience. Like, people want to sit down for a 10-part series on X, or people want to interact with the post that does Y, or asks a question, and just go from there and just start making good quality content. Don't go crazy posting every day if you think the quality won't be there.
Gotcha. And should people really worry about their following in the beginning and getting likes and comments and shares and all that?
Again, I'm super content driven. Like, make good content. If it's good, it will get eyeballs. TikTok and other social media platforms like Reels and YouTube Shorts, they are amazing for discoverability. And if you make good quality content, your one moment in each of those algorithms will get you the people to get you going. So that's really good. I do want to say this. If you make something that's not good value or good content, that might be your only chance in someone's For You page for months. So give yourself every chance possible by making all of your content good. Because if you make 3 really good TikToks and 1 crappy one, that 1 crappy one might get put in the feed and get nothing. And then you won't be too happy. So,
no, that's good advice. You only have 1 chance to make a first impression, and on there, it's even quicker.
It's maybe, I saw a TikTok today. It's 3 seconds, but it's realistically 0.5 seconds. Yeah. So some TikToks that don't have audio right at the start, people will skip, even if it's something that they would watch. So yeah, it's getting shorter and shorter, Joe.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. This is really good. Where can people go to see the proof that you've got this?
It's at Fracno. So it's FRACNO. And
that's on TikTok?
And that's on TikTok. Shoot me a DM. I'd love to say hi. And I'm also, I think, Fracno _ on Instagram, where I'm trying to post more reels, but TikTok is where you can probably find me.
Cool. Very cool. Well, any other piece of advice that you want to give to the listener before we jump off?
Don't make your music too loud in your vertical videos where I can't hear you. And please edit your captions. Those are 2 personal things.
I love it. Don't make your music too loud. Edit your captions. Those are 2 very good pieces of advice. On top of all this great stuff for somebody that's got 100,000 followers plus on TikTok. We'll talk to you again when you hit the 1 million mark. Maybe before that. But anyway.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure everybody will get a lot of value out of this.
Sure. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.